So uh, we'll get right into it. If you didn't get the first one, the first chapter, you know what I'm saying? Go back to the last video and check the last chapter out. It's very insightful. Uh, Due to the screen acting stupid, I'm gonna have to like use two hands. It's gonna be kind of annoying. So excuse my language. Alright, chapter 2. Effective of thought on health in the body. The body is the servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind, whether you be deliberate, chosen, or automatically expressed. As the bidding of unlawful thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay. At the command of glad and beautiful thoughts, it becomes clothed with youthfulness and beauty. Disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. Sickly thoughts will express themselves through a sickly body. Thoughts of fear have been known to kill a man as speedily as a bullet, and they are continuously killing thousands of people just as sure, though less rapidly. The people who live in fear of disease are the people who get it. Anxiety quickly demoralizes the whole body and lays it open to the entrance of disease, while impure thoughts, even if not physically indulged, will soon shatter the nervous system. That's kind of common sense. People, you gotta take care of yourself, in my opinion. Because if you don't know, if your body's different than mine, then you know. Strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body and vigor and grace. The body is a delicate and plastic instrument which responds readily to the thoughts by which it is impressed, and the habits of thoughts will produce their own effects, good, bad, upon it. Men will continue to have impure and poisoned blood so long as they propagate unclean thoughts. Out of a clean heart comes a clean life and a clean body. Out of a defiled mind proceeds a defiled life and a corrupt body. Thought is the fount of action, life, and manifestation. Make the fountain pure, and all will be pure. Change of diet will not help a man who will not change his thoughts. When a man makes his thoughts pure, he no longer desires impure food. Clean thoughts make clean habits. So-called saint who does not wash his body is not a saint. He who has strengthened or purified his thoughts does not need to consider a malevolent microbe. If you would protect your body, guard your mind. If you would renew your body, beautify your mind. Thoughts of malice, envy, disappointment, despondency, rob the body of its health and grace. A sour face does not come by chance. It is made by sour thoughts. Wrinkles that mar are drawn by folly, passion, and pride. I know a woman of 96 and has the bright, innocent face of a girl. I know a man well under middle age whose face is drawn in inharmonious contours. This one is the result of a sweet and sunny disposition. The other is the outcome of a passion and discontent, as you cannot have a sweet and wholesome abode unless you emit the air and sunshine freely into your rooms, so that a strong body and bright, happy, or serene uh, continuance can only result from the free admittance into the mind of thoughts and joy of goodwill and serenity. On the faces of the aged are made by sympathy, others by strong and pure thought, and others are caught by passion, who cannot distinguish them. With those who have lived righteously, age is calm, peaceful, softly, and mellow, like the setting sun. I have risen. He died as sweetly and peaceful as he had lived. There is no physician like cheerful thought for dissipating the ills of the body. There is no comforter to compare with goodwill for dispersing the shadows of grief and sorrow. To live continually in thoughts of ill will, cynicism, suspicion, and envy is to be confined in a self-made prison hole. But to think well of, to be cheerful with all, to patiently learn to find the good in all. Such unselfishness thoughts are the very portals of heaven, and to dwell day by day in thoughts of peace toward every creature will be a bonding bliss to the possessor. There's three chapters. I'm gonna read for a little minute till I stop. That that's out of control. Thought and purpose. Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. But the majority of the bark of thought is allowed to drift upon the ocean of life. Aimlessly, aimlessness is a vice, and such a drifting must not continue for him who would steer clear of catastrophic and destruction. They who have no central purpose in their life fall fall an easy prey to petty worries, fears, troubles, and self-pityings, all of which are indications of weakness, which led just as surely as deliberately planned sins, thought, uh, though by though by a different route. To failure, unhappiness, and loss, for weakness cannot persist in a power-evolving universe. A man should conceive a legitimate purpose in his heart and set out to accomplishment. He should make this purpose the centralizing point of his thoughts. It may take the form of a spiritual ideal or may be a worldly object. Hey y'all, got locked in. According to his nature, to the time of being, but whichever it is, he should steadily focus his thoughts forces upon the object which he has set before him. He should make this purpose his supreme duty. He should devote himself to his attainment, not allowing his thoughts to wander away into ephemeral fantasies, longings, and imaginings. This is the royal road to self-control, true concentration of thought. Even if he fails again and again and again to accomplish his purpose, as he necessarily must until weakness is overcome, the strength of character gained will be the measure of his true success, and this will form a new starting point for future power and triumph. Those who are not prepared for this apprehension of a great purpose should fix the thoughts upon the faultless performance of their duty, no matter how insignificant the task may appear. Only in this way can the thoughts be gathered and focused, and resolution and energy be developed, which is being done. There is nothing which may not be accomplished. The weakest soul, knowing its own weakness and believing this truth, that strength can only be developed by effort and practice, will thus be believing at once begin to exert itself and adding effort to effort, patience to patience, and strength to strength, will never cease to develop, and will at last grow divinely strong as the physically weak man can make himself strong by careful, patient training. So the man of weak thoughts, you hear that? Gotta lock in. Man of weak thoughts can make them strong by exercising himself and right thinking to put away aimless weakness and to begin to think with a purpose, and is to enter the ranks of those strong ones who only recognizes failure as one of the pathways to attainment, who make all conditions serve them, and who think strongly, attempt fearlessly, accomplish masterfully, have conceived of his purpose. A man should mentally mark out a straight path to his achievement, looking neither to the right or to the left. Doubts and fears should be rigorously excluded. There are disintegrating, disinter, oh, oh bad dog. Disintegrating elements which break up the straight line of effort, rendering it crooked, ineffectual, useless. Thoughts of doubt and fear never accomplished anything and never can. Well, that being said, pretty much saying doubts and fears are pretty much pointless. When you gotta look straight ahead, you gotta have some type of faith, you gotta have some type of purpose, you gotta have some want. Alright. Doubts are Thoughts of thoughts of doubt and fear never accomplish anything and never can. They always lead to failure. Purpose, energy, power to do, and all strong thoughts seize when doubt and fear creep in. The will to do springs from the knowledge that we can do. Doubt and fear are the greatest enemies of knowledge, and he who encourages them will slay them, thwarts himself at every step. Get that? He who has conquered doubt and fear has conquered failure. His every thought is alive with power, and all difficulties are bravely met and wisely overcome. His purposes are seasonably planted, and they bloom and bring forth fruit, which does not fail prematurely go to the ground. Thought allied fearlessly to purpose becomes creative force. He who knows this is ready to become something higher and stronger than a mere bundle of wavering thoughts and fluctuating sensations. He also does this. He who does this has become the conscious and intelligent wielder of his mental powers. Interesting. All right, y'all. Chapter 4. This book kind of small, as you can see. If you went to the first video, you'll see. You know what I'm saying? So, right now we on 4. We started out at 2. We on chapter 4. The thought factor in achievement. All that man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is a direct result of his own thoughts. And to justly ordered universe, there's where loss of equipoise would mean total destruction. Individual responsibility must be absolute. A man's weakness and strength, purity and impurity are his own and not another man's. They are brought by himself and not by another, and they can only be altered by himself, never by another. His conditions is also of his own and not of another man's. His suffering and his happiness are evolved from within. As he thinks, so he is. He continues to think, so he remains. A strong man cannot help a weaker unless that weaker is willing to be helped. And even if the weak man must become strong of himself, he must by his own efforts develop the strength which he admires in another. None but himself can alter his condition. Can I get an amen? For sure. It has been usual for men to think or to say many men are slaves because one is an oppressor. Let us hate the oppressor. Now, however, there is amongst an increasing few a tendency to reverse the judgment and to say one man is an oppressor because many are slaves. Let us despise the slaves. The truth is that the oppressor and the slave are co-operators in ignorance, and while seeming to afflict each other, or in the reality afflicting themselves, a perfect knowledge perceives the action of law and the weakness of the oppressed and the misapplied power of the oppressor. A perfect love, seeing the suffering, which both states entail, condemns neither. A perfect compassion embraces both oppressor and oppressed, who has conquered weakness and has put away all selfishness, all selfish thoughts, belongs neither to the oppressor nor oppressed. He is free. Say that. He also has conquered weakness and has put away all selfish thoughts, belongs neither to oppressor nor oppressed. He is free. A man can only rise, conquer, and achieve by lifting up his thoughts. He can only remain weak and abject and miserable by refusing to lift up his thoughts. Before a man can achieve anything, even worldly things, he must lift his thoughts and become slavish animal indulgence, above slavish animal indulgence. He may not, in order to succeed, give up all animality and selfishness by any means, but a portion of it must at least be sacrificed. A man whose first thought is bestial indulgence could never think clearly nor plan methodically. He could not find or develop his latent resources. Would fail in any undertaking, not having commits to manfully control his thoughts. He is not in a position to control affairs or to adopt serious responsibilities. He is not fit to act independently and stand alone, but he is limited only by the thoughts which he chooses. There can be no progress, no achievement without sacrifice, and a man's worldly success will be in the measure that he sacrifices his confused animal thoughts and fixes his mind on the development of plans and the strengthening of his resolution and self-reliance. And the higher he lifts his thoughts, the more manly, upright, and righteous he becomes. The greater will be his success, and the more blessed and enduring will be his achievements. The universe does not favor the greedy, the dishonest, the vicious, though on the mere surface it may sometimes appear to do so. It helps the honest, the the mag, what the hell? Excuse me, y'all. The magnanimous. There we go. The magnanimous, the virtuous, and all the great teachers of the ages have declared this in varying forms, and to prove and to know that it a man has but to persist in making himself more and more virtuous by lifting up his thoughts. Intellectual achievements are the result of thought, consecrated to the search for knowledge, or for the beautiful and true in life and nature. Such achievements may be sometimes connected with vanity and ambition, but they are not the outcome of those characteristics. They are the natural outgrowing and long, arduous effort of pure and unselfish thoughts. Spiritual achievements are the consummation of holy aspirations. He who lives constantly in the conception of noble and lofty thoughts, who dwells upon that is pure and unselfish, will, as surely as the sun reaches its zenith and the moon is full, become the wise and noble in character and rise into a position of influence and blessedness. Achievement of whether kind is the crown of effort, the diadem of thought. By the aid of self-control, resolution, purity, righteousness, and well-directed thought, a man ascends by the aid of animality, uh, indolence, impurity, corruption, and confusion of thoughts of a man descends. A man may rise to high success in the world, even to lofty altitudes in the spiritual realm, and again descend into weakness and wretchedness by allowing arrogant, selfish, and corrupt thoughts to take possession of him. Victories attained by right thought can only be maintained by watchfulness. Many give away when success is assured and rapidly fall back into failure. All achievements, whether the business, intellectual, or spiritual world, are the result of definitely directed thought, are governed by the same law, and are the same method. The only difference lies in the object of attainment. He who would accomplish little must sacrifice little. He who would achieve much must sacrifice much. He who would attain highly must sacrifice great. All right, y'all. It's chapter 5. I'm gonna call it a day. Well, it's morning for me. You know what I'm saying? I go to work at like 12. It's morning for me. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all probably not even know. So what y'all think? You know what I'm saying? Comment. Let me know what y'all think about the book so far. Yeah. This is the book. Like I said, I don't believe in manifestation. I believe in prayer. But I just thought I'd, you know what I'm saying, get back into like reading books or whatever. I like to read and all that good stuff. So I thought I'd, you know what I'm saying, do something different for the channel. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you don't like it. And we'll go from there. Until then, I'll holler at y'all. Peace.